welcome back to my YouTube channel. It has been like a year and a half since I last posted a video, and I'm pretty sure the last thing I said on my last video, which was my house tour, which I've since sold that house and moved to Nashville, Tennessee. The last thing I said on that video was, oh my gosh, Jordan and I have so many fun videos planned for you, so stay tuned. And then we didn't do it. So here I am, finally, a year and a half later, ready to give you some really awesome videos. And the number one thing I'll probably be making my videos about is the thing that you guys want to see the most. My plants. Plants are just my favorite. And so what we're gonna do today is we're gonna repot one of my favorite plants, my most beautiful plant, my Monstera, the one you see right behind us. The roots are crawling out the bottom. It just is ready for a new home. So I figured instead of just repotting it by myself, why not invite you guys along? Why not show you one of the things that you guys ask me all the time is what's the best way to repot your plants? So if you want to see how I repot my plants, then keep watching.
Okay guys, so here's what you're gonna need. A pot that's about 1 to 2 inches bigger than your old pot, an indoor potting soil of some sort. It can be regular potting soil or succulent cacti soil. Water for the soil once you're finished repotting. Then you're gonna need some perlite to add in, plant food, and a moss pole. This is optional, but I recommend it if you're repotting a Monstera like I am today. Some important tips to remember. If you're a beginner, I recommend, I'm pretty serious about this, always use a pot with drainage holes to avoid root rot. If you insist on no holes, make sure you fill the bottom of the pot with a few inches of stone and water very modestly to avoid root rot. And lastly, if you hit a few bumps along the way, don't panic. Not every step has to be perfect. Just have fun. All right, guys, so this is my beautiful Monstera. I'm out here on my back patio, and as you can see, this thing has gotten out of hand. These little twist ties are holding it up. It's pretty much the only thing keeping it standing right now. So I'm just gonna go one by one, remove these twist ties, remove the bamboo pole that it's been inside holding it up, and then the fun part. We're going to start smacking the pot and kind of shimmying the plant out. I know a lot of you get so nervous at this part, but go ahead and grab it at the root and don't be afraid to just shimmy it on out. It's a lot sturdier than you think it is. Plants are not quite as delicate as we think they are. So here I am just rolling it around, trying to shimmy it out. It took me a little bit. It's best to repot when your plants are dry, the soil is dry, so that you can just pull it on out. So from here, you're going to start massaging the roots, kind of shaking off some of the old soil. You don't have to shake off all of the soil, but I try to get off as much as I can. And the whole point here is you want to have the roots kind of dangling down instead of wound up really tight. We want them to acclimate to their new soil really well. So here's a different view. You can see some of the aerial roots on my Monstera. They're kind of digging down into the soil, but go ahead and keep massaging it, get those roots kind of separated. One thing I always like to do when I'm repotting my plants is check the roots. So you can see right here, it's okay if some pieces fall off like this. Don't worry about it. Like I said, they're hardier than you think. But check your roots right here. As you can see, this one's really firm and light colored. That's a good sign of a really, really healthy root. You don't want dark roots that are mushy. That's a sign of root rot. And that is not a good place to be with your plants. Okay, so now we get to the fun part. We're going to start filling our pot up with soil. I'm just using a regular indoor potting soil here, and I'm filling it about 1/3 of the way up with potting soil. And then from here, I'm going to be using some perlite. I'm going to pour that right in, and then I'm going to go ahead and mix it right into the soil. As soon as I'm done with the perlite, I prefer to add in some plant food. You don't have to do this step if you prefer liquid plant food, and you're going to do the same thing as you did with the perlite, just mix it right in. From here, I'm going to make a little space in the pot to put my plant right into. And as you can see right here, this is the moment I realized that I probably should have gotten a little bit bigger of a pot. But I love this ceramic pot. I waited for it to ship to me, so I'm just going to use it. Monsteras don't really mind being root bound, so we're going to go for it. So from here, you're going to start filling in the soil. Make sure it gets all the way down there inside the sides of the pot. You don't want any gaps. Here's my awesome husband in his pajama pants stepping in. He had to help me out because my Monstera was so tall it kept falling over before I got enough soil in. So from here, like I said before, I'm using a moss pole for my Monstera. I really do recommend these for Monstera. They help them grow up instead of out. So you'll see here, I'm taking all those aerial roots on a Monstera that kind of stick out everywhere, and I'm kind of weaving them right into the moss pole. You should always keep the moss pole wet, and the purpose of it is for those roots to eventually grow into them on their own, and then that's how you keep a Monstera from growing all the way really wide. Instead of growing out, it grows up. So here's what it looks like. A little bit of a close-up view. Looking pretty good. Eventually, I won't need those twist ties once it finally roots into the moss pole. But for now, that's what's holding it up. So the last step here, I'm just making sure I don't have any extra gaps after I tap the pot on the ground. Some of it kind of shimmies down. So just make sure you're filling in all those holes. And then guys, never forget this step. Always water your plant. Always water it when you're finished repotting so the roots can acclimate to the new soil and get used to its new home and its new pot. And there she is, guys. Look how beautiful. Such a proud plant mama. I love her so much. Definitely my favorite plant.
So that's it, guys. That is how I repotted my Monstera. I obviously used a moss pole because it's getting huge. You don't have to do that with any of your smaller or medium-sized plants. Monsteras do grow really fast, and they will grow out if you don't give them something to grow up. I hope this was helpful. If you guys have any questions, go ahead and leave them in the comments below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. I've got some good things coming for you. So thanks so much for watching, guys, and I will see you in my next video that will not be a year and a half from now. Bye. Drew go frat. Why does my hair never look good when I want it to? Also, really fun when you self-tan and then you get like orange spots on your hands. So that's fun. Whew. Better. Longest attempt at an outro ever. Dang it, I can't do it!